everyone, and welcome to this special online edition. I'm absolutely delighted to have with us Miss Nilima Penyamurthy, who is the founder and director of Puranas Limited. She started the company in 2016 and has since then worked tirelessly to produce and direct an audiobook and the Ramayana puppet show. Nilima, a very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for being here and talking to us.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Pragya, and thank you for inviting me to participate in this conversation.
So Nilima, tell me, why the Ramayana and why through puppets?
Basically, it started with my boys doing, my two sons, Shreyas and Ayur, doing short skits and short storyboards at their school in London on the Ramayana in the run-up to Diwali when they were in their primary school. At some point, the boys decided they wanted to rewrite it in their own way. And in 2016, when Shreyas was 17 and Ayur was 12, they decided to narrate their own version of the Ramayana. We published it as an audiobook on Audible, and the audiobook did exceedingly well. It picked up reviews from the Times UK as one of the best audiobooks, top 10 audiobooks of 2017. It was chosen by the British Airways on their in-flight entertainment as well. So this gave me the confidence that this format of conveying the Ramayana, an epic story in a short 1-hour format, is being appreciated by one and all. And I then decided that I'd like to add a visual angle to this narration. I went to a few puppet shows in London and understood that it was a very beautiful way of conveying a story.
Nilima, you are from a science background and you have read at the Imperial College. So tell me, how from that point of being a scientist did you actually transition over to this point, and how did that come about? And
so I did study genetics in my undergrad, and I was quite keen on biology and medicinal chemistry for that matter. I mean, most of us, I would definitely think that we can think logically, we can think creatively as well. I think it exists in all of us. They're not mutually exclusive, is my understanding. All it takes is for you to transfer those skills that you pick up while you're learning a subject, whether it is genetics or in science. Obviously, it is a lot of practical. So it is the how methodical you are in making sure you have all the equipment when you're about to start an experiment. How do you record all the findings? And similarly, how do you read up and get ready to observe the experiment? The same thing is transferable to any other area, I would say. So if it is a puppet show, you're obviously thinking about the budget. What is the budget you have? So within this budget, how many characters could you prepare? And once you know how many characters you could prepare, okay, how much can you stretch the narration?
You mentioned earlier that the Ramayana puppet show is something which you have made in a digital format and in many different languages like German and French. So how did that come about? Can you talk to us a little bit about it?
So after the last performances at Trafalgar Square last year, at the Diwali London Mela in Trafalgar Square, I felt I needed to add more costumes to the characters, because there are 3 different scenes that we have depicted in this short production of the Ramayana. But during the live production, we couldn't change the clothes of the puppets because their puppets are quite delicate. So we had to keep them in the same costume throughout the show. So I was quite keen to show them in 3 different costumes based on the scenes that they were depicting. So for that, we had to film the show so that you could take a break, change the clothes, and then you can shoot the next part of the show. So we filmed it in January after a few days of rehearsals, and therefore I had a digital copy. And once you have a digital copy where the voiceover is another layer on top of the visuals, then you realize that layer could be in other languages too. I was extremely keen to work with teenagers, because when my boys narrated the audiobook, they were young teenagers, they were 12 and 17, and the way they had enjoyed the whole narration, despite they were not narrators, right? But they just loved the whole experience and they did a great job. So I therefore wrote to the Spanish school in London, the French school in London, and the German school in London, and the Gujarati and Hindi schools as well, to see if any 15 to 18-year-old boys or girls would be interested in adding their acting as voiceover artists for the production. And the schools were very cooperative. Some students came forward from all these schools. The teachers translated the English narration, and all the rehearsals were done over Zoom or WhatsApp video, and the recordings would be done on great apps like Dolby app. Throughout the lockdown, it was quite nice to see, to sort of engage with young students from all these schools, and for them to learn this new story again. They never knew of the Ramayana, especially the European students. So it was a wonderful journey seeing them learn a big story from another culture and experience that their own voice has the power to convey a story to students. So it was a wonderful experience. So I now have a digital copy of the show in Hindi, Gujarati, of course English, Spanish, German, French, and Italian.
Okay, so almost 6 languages, and you've shown that it's a very positive message that despite the lockdown, you were able to continue your work and make best use of technology. That's really heartening. So in the end, I know we could just keep talking forever, but I would just probably request you for one message for our Henrietta Barnett girls. All of them who I know are so hardworking, so intelligent and diligent. And yet they are going to go in a world which is, ever changing, with career options being absolutely, totally unknown, not like our traditional career options, which we had when we grew up. So if you had to give one message to the girls, what would that be?
Thank you for the privilege, Pragya, to be able to give an advice to these bright young girls. All I would say to all of them is just keep indulging in every aspect of your life. And they almost, like how Steve Jobs said, they become a dot in your life. This experience becomes a dot in your life, and they all connect at some point.
Thank you so much, Nilima, for being with us and sharing all your experiences. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors of going global, and wish you a very happy Diwali too.
Thank you so much, Pragya. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you all for listening to me. Please, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please do let me know your comments. You can always reach me on info@puranas.co.uk. And all the best to everyone.